Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I thought we would discuss my 2024 reading goals and plans, and also have a bit of reflection on my reading year from 2023. I thought we'd do this video and to just sit down and chat just whilst I'm still getting used to and comfortable talking to a camera, and also whilst I'm new to booktube. It's just another video that helps you guys get to know me a bit more. I'd like to also apologise for the lighting in this video. This is like my third time filming this video. I cannot get my words out today, and when I did, the audio was all off. I've got my tea, my dog mug again, and I have a like a detoxifying tea blend today. Still too hot to drink, but yeah. I guess we'll start with the reflection from last year. I managed to read 40 books last year, which I'm really pleased with. It was a very, very busy year. I finished university, finished my degree, so I had my dissertation and all my assessments to write in the first half of the year, and then pretty much as we finished my degree, me and Josh moved into our new house, and it was the first place that we've moved into that wasn't student accommodation. Then I started a new job, and it was 9 till 5, which, coming out of uni, and whilst I was at uni, I was working, but mostly in the evenings. It was a big shock, and it wasn't strictly 9 to 5 either, because it was in events. So it was a structured 9 till 5, but then depending on the events, it'd be evenings, weekends, and it took me a really long time to get used to that. And then I ended up leaving there towards the end of the year. Even though I'm really pleased with how many books I read, I'm not pleased with the quality of the books that I read. Just when I've looked back at my ratings, they weren't bad books. A lot of times 3 or 4 stars. They just weren't very memorable to me, and I didn't get that connection to the characters that I would have liked. And I don't know if that is partly because of me being in such a different place mentally, like all over the place, or if it was the books. But towards the end of last year, I started to get my reading mojo back. Me and my sister started to read books together, which we're continuing on into this year, which I love, and I love that we're doing that. So I found when I look at the books that I read towards the end of the year, they are a little more of the quality that I'd like, on the enjoyment and connection that I want from a book was there a bit more. So yeah, I think reflecting on last year, what I want to bring into this year is just have that connection and enjoyment to the books, more than the quantity of books. I still have set a reading goal, but I definitely want to be picking books that I know or think that I know I will love or enjoy or feel connected to. So let's get into the goals for this year. I've actually started keeping a reading journal this year. I'm having so much fun creating spreads and whatnot. Here we have my reading goals page. So in terms of the quantity of books, the Goodreads goal, I set it to 50. Prior to last year, I think for 2 or maybe even 3 years, I was reading around the 60 number. So I thought this year we'll meet in the middle and aim for 50. And I think now I've got my reading mojo back and I'm a bit more settled. It's one that I'm pretty sure I'll be able to achieve, but can also be a bit more challenging for me. Most of these goals kind of interlink with one another. The first goal is to use my Kindle more. I've had my Kindle for just over a year now and I love it, but I think through not reading as much as I would have wanted to last year, I was just reaching more for books that I owned, and wasn't really reaching for my Kindle that often. So that's definitely something I want to prioritize this year because I love it. I pay for Kindle Unlimited, so I need to get my money's worth out of that to make it worth that subscription. But I have actually, in January, out of these 7 books I read, 4 of them were on my Kindle. So I'm very, very happy with that. The second goal that I have is to read more books from the library. I love using my library, and we've actually got a new one in the city centre of where I live, which is lovely. It's so big, it's a lovely space. So I really do want to use that more. And I've taken out, I think, 5 books this past month. However, I'm not reading them. So I'm using the library, but I'm not getting to the books that I've taken. I have to keep renewing my loan. So we're halfway there with that one, I guess. A little bit more to work on, I think, with that one. Now, I really want to reduce my physical TBR, my books that I have to read. My shelves are majority unread here. The ones at my mum's, I'm like, there's probably 3 on those 3 shelves that I have to read. But here, there's too many that I'm a little bit ashamed to name right now the total of unread books on these shelves. But reading books, buying books, very separate hobbies. I really want to reduce my owned to be read books. I don't know why that took so long for my brain to get that sentence out. And to go along with this, I really want to do the read 10 buy 1 challenge. So for every 10 books I read, I can buy 1 book. Now, pre-orders do not count towards this. I'm letting myself have pre-orders. However, I have really minimized the amount of pre-orders that I have ongoing. Before I decided to take part in this challenge, I had a lot more pre-orders placed, but I have now reduced those to mostly special editions that I really want, or books that I think I will read very soon after they have been delivered and published. So they don't count. And then the books that count towards this are only from my physical shelves. For example, in January, I read 7 books, but only 4 of those I owned physically. So only those 4 count towards my read 10 buy 1 challenge. The next goal is to find my genre of books / reading taste. I like to read a variety of books from different genres: fantasy, fiction, literary fiction, romance, sci-fi. Those are kind of my go-tos. But what I mean by this is just when you really don't know what to read, or you're sort of maybe on the verge of a reading slump, or are in the middle of a reading slump, you have a go-to that you know will pick you up, get you out of that slump. I think because I'm a mood reader, it really depends. So at the minute, I'm really enjoying fantasy, so I'm wanting to reach for more fantasies, but I'm also in the middle of a literary fiction and really loving that. So then I'm partly also like, oh, maybe I would reach for a lit fic. I don't know if this is making sense to you guys, because I don't think one person can be specific to one genre at all. I just think I want to find my go-to genre that I know will always pick me up when I need it. Then the last goal that I have for 2024 is to reread some more of my favourite books. This really scares me because when you find a new favourite book, you get emotionally invested, you get connected to the characters and what happens plot wise. You love it all, and I always worry that if I reread it, I won't have the same feelings towards it, or even really not like it. And I want to keep the fond feelings that I have for that book. But last year I reread Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, and no surprise, I still loved it. Gave it 5 stars again, and if anything, it solidified itself as an all-time favourite. So that's given me the push to start rereading some of my favourite books this year. I would really like to reread the Northern Lights series by Philip Pullman. I absolutely loved these books when I first read them, actually, only 3 years ago. So this is definitely one that I'm going to reread this year. I also want to reread Jane Eyre, another favourite book. But that one is a bit more intimidating because it's a classic, and even though I've read it before and loved it, you've got to be in the right headspace for classics, I find. So those are all of my reflections and goals heading into 2024. I hope you've enjoyed hearing what some of my reading goals are, and I'd love for you to let me know what yours are in the comments below. If you've reached the end of this video and want to see more of me, please like, comment and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!